Have you ever had this happen? Someone starts talking to you in English. You understand every word, every sentence, everything makes sense. Then, they stop talking. They look at you. Now it's your turn. And suddenly, your mind goes completely blank. Your mouth just won't move. You know the words. You know the grammar. But nothing comes out. If you've ever felt that, you're not alone. I know that feeling because I lived with it for years. I thought something was wrong with me. I thought maybe I wasn't smart enough. Maybe my English just wasn't good enough. But I was wrong. Completely wrong. The problem wasn't my English. The problem was the way I was practicing. And once I understood that, everything started to change. Hey, welcome back. I'm Mia. If this is your first time here, I'm really glad you're here. Every week, we slow things down, we use simple English, and we learn the way real people actually speak. No pressure, no complicated grammar lessons, just calm conversations, useful ideas, and small habits that make a big difference. Today's habit might be the simplest one you've ever heard. In fact, when someone first told me about it, I almost laughed because it sounded too easy, too small, too simple. But sometimes, the smallest habits create the biggest changes. This one certainly did. It helped me stop translating every sentence inside my head. It helped me stop waiting for perfect grammar. And little by little, it helped me speak without that familiar panic. Today, I want to share that habit with you because honestly, I wish someone had told me years earlier. So, what was the habit? It was surprisingly simple. I started talking to myself out loud in English, just 2 minutes a day. That was it. No audience, no teacher, no language partner, just me. At first, it felt a little strange. I'll admit that. I remember standing alone in my kitchen, trying to describe what I was making for breakfast. This is a cup. I need some coffee. The water is too hot. Simple things, very simple things. And honestly, I felt a little silly. I kept thinking, is this really helping? It didn't feel impressive. It didn't feel like studying. There were no grammar exercises, no vocabulary lists, no difficult lessons, just me talking. But something interesting happened. After a few days, finding words became easier. After a couple of weeks, my sentences came faster. Not perfect, just faster. Then one day, someone asked me a simple question. What did you do this weekend? Usually, that question made me nervous. Usually, my brain would freeze. I'd start translating. I'd search for the perfect words. And by the time I found them, the conversation had already moved on. But this time, something felt different. The words came naturally, not because my English had suddenly improved, but because my mouth had practiced saying English. That changed everything. Here's something many learners don't realize. Understanding English and speaking English are not exactly the same skill. Listening teaches your brain to recognize words. Reading helps you understand ideas. Grammar teaches you how the language works. Those things are important, very important. But speaking is different. Speaking asks your brain to find words quickly, to build sentences, to move your mouth, to make decisions in real time. That's a completely different kind of practice. Think about learning the piano. You can watch someone play. You can read books about music. You can even memorize every note. But until your fingers touch the keys, you aren't really practicing the piano. English works the same way. You have to use it, not perfectly, just regularly. a little, every single day. Now, let's make this even more useful. Imagine you're getting ready for work or school. Maybe you're making breakfast or walking to the bus stop. Instead of staying quiet, try talking to yourself, not in your first language, in English. It doesn't have to sound perfect. It doesn't even have to sound impressive. Just keep talking. You could say, I'm making some coffee. I didn't sleep very well. Today might be busy. I need to finish a few things. Simple sentences. That's enough. In fact, simple is better. Because your goal isn't to sound fluent. Your goal is to build the habit of speaking. Little by little, your brain starts to expect English, and something interesting happens. You stop translating every single sentence. You begin to think in English, not all the time, not right away, but more often than before, and that's real progress. Here's a phrase I want you to remember today. Think on your feet. It's a very common expression. It means to respond quickly, without much time to prepare. Imagine someone asks you an unexpected question. You don't have time to plan every word. You simply answer. You're thinking. On your feet. Let's hear it together. Think. On. Your. Feet. One more time. Think on your feet. Great. Now listen to these examples. My interview was difficult, but I managed to think on my feet. Or, she's really good at thinking on her feet during meetings. Notice something. The words are simple, but the meaning is powerful. Now it's your turn. Can you think of a moment when you had to make a quick decision? Maybe at school, maybe at work, maybe while traveling. Take a few seconds. Picture that moment. Now, try describing it out loud. Don't worry. If your grammar isn't perfect, don't stop to look for better words. Just speak. Keep going, because that's exactly how confidence grows, not from being perfect, but from continuing. Even when things feel uncomfortable, every sentence you speak is another small step forward. And those small steps add up much faster than you think. Before we finish, I want to tell you about one of my students. She wasn't the most confident person. In fact, she almost never spoke English. Not because she didn't know enough, she did. She was simply afraid of making mistakes. So we made one small change, nothing complicated. Every morning, while making coffee, she talked to herself for just 2 minutes. Some mornings, she talked about the weather. Other mornings, she described her plans. Sometimes, she couldn't think of anything to say, so she described the coffee cup in her hand. It wasn't exciting, it wasn't perfect, but she showed up every single day. A few months later, she sent me a message. She had just finished her first meeting in English. She wasn't perfect. She made a few mistakes. She even forgot a couple of words. But something was different. She didn't panic. She kept speaking. She kept communicating. And when the meeting ended, she smiled. Because, for the first time, she realized something. Confidence didn't come first. Practice came first. Confidence followed later. I think that's something we all need to remember. We often wait until we feel ready, until we feel confident, until our English feels perfect. But real progress usually happens before confidence arrives. So, don't wait. Start with 2 minutes. Tomorrow morning, talk about your breakfast, talk about your plans, talk about your favorite movie, or simply talk about your day. It doesn't matter what you talk about. What matters is that you keep speaking. Every sentence makes the next one easier. every day builds a little more confidence. And one day, without even noticing, you'll answer a question without translating first. You'll finish a conversation without that familiar fear. And you'll look back and realize you've come much farther than you ever imagined. Before we go, I'd love to ask you something. If you could speak English confidently, who would you talk to first? A friend? A coworker? Someone you've always wanted to meet? Take a moment and think about your answer. If you'd like, share it in the comments. I really enjoy reading them. Thank you for spending these minutes with me today. I truly appreciate it. Take care of yourself, keep speaking, keep making mistakes, keep moving forward, and I'll see you in the next episode.